Good morning, flosstube. I am simply a stitcher, also known as Nicola, and I thought today I'd do a little stitch with me. Been trying to set this one up for a few days, but I live in a very busy household and wanted it to be nice and quiet for you all. It's currently 20 to 6 in the morning on the date, I think it's the 27th of April. Yes, and it's a Tuesday. So, like I said, I thought we'd have a little stitch with me. I've pulled out Pandemic. You may have seen in my floss tube, I said I was going to start to do one strand a night. Yeah, I haven't done that. So I thought I'd get in at least a strand or two this morning and have a chat with you all. As well as that, I actually got it wrong in my floss tube. I thought I was about 6 pages in. I'm not. This is page 15. So I'm quite pleased with that, which means there's only 5 more to go. And then this piece will be finished. So, how's everybody doing today? I hope we're all well, staying safe. Things are getting quite serious in other areas of the world, and in my little corner, thankfully, everybody seems to be okay and avoiding the virus. Doesn't mean that I feel any less for those who are affected by it. I've been watching the news and keeping an eye on things, and I do feel very sad that so many people are dying through this awful virus. I hope that this virus goes away and everybody becomes safe. Let's try and get a little bit of normal, whatever normal is now. We all know that there's a new normal. We all have, I work from home now. 12 months ago I was going into an office. I get to save my time and get to be able to stitch. It's fab. But I do wish that I could go back to the office, sit with my workmates, have a coffee, go to the pub after work and have a gin. It'd be lovely, but it is what it is. Anyway, back to the stitching. So, as I said, Pandemic, long dog sampler. It's my first long dog. I got this last year when it was released free to everybody. Now, of course, you do have to pay for it. I would say, oh, that's the cat. It's definitely worth doing, because this is an amazing piece. And long dog samplers are a fantastic stitch. They all have their own uniqueness. As I said, this is the only long dog that I do have, but they are unique. So I thought I'd also take this opportunity just to talk a little bit more about me, and for you to kind of get to know me a little bit. So, I live in Yorkshire, in the north of England. I've got a husband, second husband, definitely an upgrade, but we'll not talk about my first husband because he has no place here. I have 3 daughters with my first husband. They are almost 20, very nearly 17, and just 12. And they bring all the challenges that having 3 teenage daughters in the house do normally bring. I've been stitching for a number of years, since, as I said in my floss tube, since I was about 14, probably a little bit earlier, but I can also knit and crochet. I've always wanted to dressmake, but I've never got there. My interests, I like obviously stitching, the boxes and boxes of stash that I've acquired over the years will tell you that. I like true crime. I also like, it's kind of a bit diverse. I like urban exploration. I also enjoy, there's one or two YouTubers that go to celebrity grave sites, and I also quite enjoy those because you learn a lot about history. I do like documentaries in history and things where you can learn something. And I very often find that just a few taps on YouTube and you can find something that you can sit and listen to and stitch away. And that's my thing. If you don't see me sat here, headphones on, with my stitching in front of me, you know there's something wrong. I also love to travel. I've been to a few places, of course, before coronavirus, when we could travel. I've done it more with my second husband certainly than with my first, because even though he was travelling for work, he didn't travel for pleasure. I've been in more recent years to Poland and to the Auschwitz Memorial at Birkenau. I've also been to Pripyat in the Ukraine and the site of the Chernobyl zone, and that was very interesting, and my brother would like to go there, and yeah, I think I'm going to take him. My family and I, the last holiday we went to Romania, to the coast, to Mamaia on the Mediterranean coast. Where else have we been? We've been to Spain twice for family holidays. We've been to France for a family holiday. We were meant to go to Iceland for a family holiday. Not for a family holiday, I beg your pardon. Me and my husband, it was actually my Christmas present a couple of years ago. But because of the pandemic, that all got cancelled as well. And we tried to rebook it for this year. And then Iceland were not allowing overseas visitors. So that's one that's slated for next year. Should travel restrictions allow, my husband and I will be travelling to Estonia later this year. I have no idea what's there. My husband's planned a surprise trip for our well, I know about it, so it's not a surprise trip, but a surprise itinerary for our wedding anniversary in September. We were supposed to also go to Rimini in Italy and south of France at San Marino with the children earlier this year, but of course again that didn't happen. So we're also looking to see what we can do to get a family holiday with the children. So my husband, I've touched on him briefly on my flosstube. He is also a YouTuber. He has his own channel. He is called The Village Idiot. He is a bit of a geography nerd, and it's something that, you know, we do tend to, rib him for. But he likes it, and he goes off and visits towns, small towns and villages and parishes, and takes footage and points out historical and geographical parts. It's quite fascinating, actually. But if you're interested in that kind of thing, in geography and villages, and want to know, even if you're looking at this video and you're not in the UK, and want to know what villages in the UK look like, and even some towns, because he's put a couple of towns on there as well, do go and check him out. As I say, his YouTube name is The Village Idiot, and I'm very proud of him, and I do support him in going off and making all of these videos. So you may have heard her knocking about. It's still very early in the morning here. I have a cat. After she's been fed in the morning, which she's just been fed about half an hour ago, she just tends to sort of go into playful mode, and there's a little bit of running up and down. Although I think she's gone back to a food bowl now. But if you do hear any noise in the background, it's my cat. I have to work a little later today, as I said, because I do work from home. And my commute is now much shorter. From here to the kitchen table where I've got my work set up is not difficult. Oh, there's the cat making a row. So I should be doing that later today. But I'm so glad that I managed to get this little bit of time where it's quiet. Everybody's asleep. Andy's gone to work, and I can just sit here with pandemic and just get a few stitches in and have my little bit of time. This is my very favourite thing to do, as I'm sure it is most of you. I've seen loads and loads of beautiful work on Instagram, which has kind of inspired me to keep a hold of my needle and keep it picked up. I've not lost my stitchy bug at all of late, and I think it's just simply because of some of the beautiful stuff I've seen that inspires me to keep going. Anyway, just back to this pandemic. I'm stitching this on 28 count even weave, 1/1 full cross, and I'm using, for the main colour, I'm using DMC 154. Now, for anything that lives, so plants, flowers, birds, animals, people, on this, any of the little motifs, I'm actually doing those in 310 black, and I've bordered it in 310 black as well. I've seen so many wonderful interpretations of this piece. I've seen people that do this mono, just with a single colour. I've seen people who do it with a different colour per motif, and I'm just astonished by that. I couldn't do that. I like my mono colours. I couldn't do. I don't think I could decide how I could do this in multiple colours. There's just, you know, when your colour palette for DMC is like sort of 447 plus the extra colours that came out a couple of years ago, plus the variegation, I don't think I could decide what colour to use. It would just baffle me to the point that I don't think I'd ever start it. I think, you know, making, for me, using the two colours was the right choice. And this sort of plummy aubergine purple is one of my favourite. Oh, thank you, cat. She just zoomed past me. She's got the zoom in. This plummy aubergine colour is one of my favourite off the palette anyway. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it gets used enough. So I thought I'd use the opportunity with pandemic to do this, to do it in this colour. I'm a very fortunate girl because Andy also runs Stitch Picks, which is the photo conversions service. You can find them on Facebook, Stitch Picks Photo Charting. Join our group. and we actually have all of our threads on cones, so I'm not going to run out of stash anytime soon. I'm not going to run out of threads. And Andy's very good. If I need a colour, he'll go and cut me off in meters, whatever I need. To that end, I do actually have kits, but I don't often use them. I tend to just buy the PDFs and work off the PDFs, kit them up myself. I was looking through my PDF collection the other day and I was like, oh my god, I didn't realise I had so many PDFs. Coffee break. Oh, bit of a wobble there. Sorry guys. Oh, that lovely morning coffee. I have loads and loads and loads of PDFs. It'll keep me stitching. Well, I'm in my mid-40s now, and let's put it this way. If I didn't buy another piece, I'd still have plenty left until I retire and beyond. But of course, how can we just, like, not buy another piece? Yeah, there's always something new out there, something wonderful that comes along, that must-have chart, something that really takes our fancy. And of course, you know, why resist if you're paying like $20 US or, you know, equivalent in whichever currency is local to you? It's not a lot. You know, $20 US is about what, 10 to 15 pounds UK, and what's that? A couple of coffees and, you know, and a magazine. How many hours of pleasure will a chart actually give you? When you work it out, if a chart has got, stitch it 100 stitches an hour, which is sort of a standard rate, and a chart has got 240,000 stitches in it, how many hours have you got in there of just pure unadulterated stitching pleasure? It's the cheapest hobby in the long term when you look at it, because the time and the pleasure that you get out of it. If it takes you 10 years to do a big project, that's 10 years, oh excuse me, early morning yawn, 10 years of having that little bit of time to yourself every day or so and just working on that project. Yeah, it might cost you 70 or 80 pounds or, you know, whatever to kit a whole thing up from start to finish, but you spread that over the 10 years, it actually, cross stitching can turn out to be relatively inexpensive when you look at it like that. That's the way I look at it anyway. That's what I tell the husband too. So I'm really pleased, as I said, that I'm managing to get a little stitch with me up. On the back of my first floss tube, I have had a huge amount of subscribers, which I am eternally grateful. I am so thankful to you all that you all want to come and spend a little bit of time hanging out with me in my little stitch corner. I had some wonderful comments on the video as well, and I'm just so pleased and, you know, kind of overwhelmed with, like I said, at the fact that people do want to hang out with me. I do plan to do a floss tube, I think about once a month. I also want to do Stitch With Me's more regularly. Now, because obviously I have a busy household, I'm not getting up at 5 AM regularly to do this. That would just tire me out. So what I thought was that I would do some Stitch With Me's on my other projects that were just backed with gentle music. Not necessarily with stitchy sounds, because obviously chaos, where I sit in my stitchy corner is not even a corner. Where I sit I'm almost by the front door. I can see directly to my back door, and I'm in the main path through the house. So if somebody comes down from upstairs, they've got to pass me. If somebody goes upstairs, they've got to pass me. And then Andy sits on that side of me at his computer. So you might hear, you know, tip tap, tip tap, tip tap, tip tap of the keys. So what I figured was, if I did some stitch with me's that were just some music, and you could see the stitching and see the progress. Obviously we'd still have some chatty ones, and of course my regular floss tube as well. I think that'd be okay. I hope so anyway. Let me know. So, a couple more weeks to my next floss tube, well, a week or so to my next floss tube, and show everybody a little bit of progress that I've made. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen some of it. My brother asked me to do a photo conversion of his motorcycle. I'm a good way into that. And I'm also decided for Stitch Mania, for Mania, whatever you call it, May Madness. I'm going to do his bike as a focus piece, simply because I know he wants it. But it's quite an involved piece, and I want to get out of the way so I can go back to working on some of mine. Doesn't mean to say I haven't been working on mine in a rotation, but I do want to be able to not worry about his, because it's done. And as I said, with the Mercedes picture that I did for him, he wants his bike as a companion piece. I'm going to try and get an image of the Mercedes to put up in my next floss tube, so that you can all see it. And I thought what I'd do is a kind of a little bit of a finish parade as well. Even though I showed a finish in my last one, I've got a few other finishes that, you know, I think it'd be nice to share with you all. Because my stitching is very eclectic. I do tend to stitch anything and everything. I'm an unfussy stitcher. I've got dragons and unicorns, I've got flowers, I've got geometric things, I've got cutesy stuff. You know, I've got, you know, obviously cars and motorcycles. I've got the Realm of Middle-earth map, which is a work in progress. I love The Lord of the Rings, and I've been enabled by a YouTuber, I think it's Beth Chadwick, to do the Middle-earth map. It might not be, I can't remember. The Middle-earth map that she's doing, which is one from Etsy, which is just fabulous. It's like a silhouette of the Fellowship. I'm just itching to do that one. That actually might be my next chart acquisition. So yeah, plenty to keep me occupied, I suppose. And, you know, the bonus of not having to spend travelling time going to and from the office, it all helps with the stitching. I don't know how this video is going to come out, I have to be honest. It's not being filmed on the potato that I use for my floss tube, but this camera has had its issues, and of course, as I said before, I was going to film the other day and the battery went out, so let's just hope that doesn't happen for a start. I don't know about the focus, you know, and the zoom and stuff, and I am seriously not technologically minded. This camera will be handed to my husband. He'll download it, he'll add on the start and he'll add on the end, and he'll add on a little bit of music, and then he'll upload it to YouTube, because yeah, I don't do that. I don't know what I'd do without him, actually. I'd sooner just sit and stitch. Let him do the technology. Let him deal with that. He's good at that. And he doesn't mind, and he likes his computers and spreadsheets and, you know, like I said, the geography stuff and the facts and figures and that kind of thing. It's all him. And yeah, I love him for it. Almost 3 years married, 8 years together. Feels like forever. Might pop in a wedding picture, actually, of me and him. Maybe. If not, I'll show it in my flosstube anyway. I have a couple of really nice ones that I had put onto canvas. I might consider stitching those, actually, or one of them, because my wedding day was really a beautiful day, and so much sweeter this time around, so much nicer, much more intimate. Just there was like 12 of us or something. I'd do it again in a heartbeat anyway. People are like, oh, big weddings, big weddings. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I got married the first time round. It was the big white dress and the church wedding. Didn't last. Well, I said didn't last. It lasted 16 years and 3 children. But certainly this time around, I'm just so much happier. Anyway, once I finish this strand, I think we will call it a day on this one. I think I've done alright this morning. I'm a good 100 or so stitches in. Does that qualify it then for the 1 strand a night if I'm doing it at 10 to 6? Well, 5 past 6 now. In the morning? Does it qualify? Oh, that was something else I wanted to talk about quickly just before we end things. I'm a two-handed stitcher. I'm predominantly right-handed, although I am pretty ambidextrous. I've got just as much use and function in my left hand, with the exception of writing, as I have in my right. Now, I see lots of people who are two-handed stitchers, and I see many people who are right-handed with their left hand on the top. I don't see there's no right or wrong about how you stitch and how you stitch two-handed. You stitch whatever's the most comfortable for you. I can stitch the other way with my left hand on top, but I naturally prefer with my right. I guess I was just sort of, wondering, are there any other people out there like me that can use both hands just as effectively? Or am I a one of a kind? Well, I don't suppose for a second I'm a one of a kind. Can others flip between which is the hand on the top of the stitching? I don't use the sewing method ever. Very, very seldom. I've tried it, I don't like it. For me it's two-handed or not at all. Some slippage here. But it's just sort of interesting to note that lots of people say that they're right-handed, but yet the left hand is up on the top. I don't know. So plans for this week, obviously I'm working all week. The weekend and the potato of this camera decided to stop recording. So we'll just have to stitch this one together. As I was saying, plans for this week. At the weekend I have my stepdad come in. We have a bank holiday here in the UK on Monday, so I get an extra day off work. Woohoo! Which means another day of stitching. Husband will no doubt be around. I would imagine that the girls will be home as well. I'm hoping soon that certainly I'll get called up for my second vaccine. I know one of the daughter's boyfriends has got called up for his, but then again, he does have health issues, so he's, one of the vulnerable that has to be vaccinated sooner rather than later. So yeah, I might even get a floss tube done on the bank holiday. I don't know. I guess I'll just have to see how it goes. Like I said, I would like to do some more of these stitch with me's, but some of them without conversation, perhaps just with a little bit of music. I do tend to watch a lot of those myself, you see, and I do enjoy them. It's kind of almost like it's a mindfulness thing. For me, stitching is very much I do it mainly for my mental health, and I love the order and the routine and the repetitiveness, and making tiny little X's and then putting them together. It's like art, isn't it? Pixel art, I suppose. So yeah, if you have any questions for me, guys, then obviously feel free to pop those down below and we can address them in floss tubes or further stitch with me's or whatever. Or if you do have any suggestions for any content, anything that I can talk about, not political, not religious, don't do either of those because it creates too many arguments, then obviously please let me know, because the last thing I'd want is to actually be doing these videos and people be bored. I want to try and make them entertaining if I can, but content that people kind of want to see. I know everybody's different, everybody has their own thing. So anyway, let me know. Comment box is always open. And that's it. That's the end of this thread. If you like this video and it's your first time here and you haven't subscribed, then please do consider doing so just by hitting the subscribe button. It's without obligation, of course. And for those of you that have returned, thank you so much for coming and stitching with me today. I think I'm going to go and put the kettle on and have another brew. I think I need some more wakey water, also known as coffee. And yeah, that's it for today. Just a little bit in pandemic. At least I've got the one strand in. Ooh. So I can say on my next floss tube that at least I did one strand. I did a little bit more than one, but I do love your comments, so please, if you do wish to reach out to me, then by all means drop a comment down below. You can also follow me on Instagram at simply a stitcher. It's all one word. And as I said, if you do feel like you'd like to do so, then do check out Andy's channel, The Village Idiot, here on YouTube. And I'm going to call this one a day. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon in hopefully my regular floss tube update, which I'll probably do over the bank holiday. There might be another stitch with me before then, who knows. If I can't do the floss tube, I'll just do another stitch with me, and I guess I'll see you all soon. Bye.